It's harder to get rid of than you think. If you dump it in quantity, not only are you violating environmental laws, but that causes severe damage to residential pipes. You have to store it in a disposable container and theoretically dump it in a tell me about it grease stud vintage shirt grease receptacle, but no one actually does that. They just throw it in the trash. As soon as they plunged the spoon into the grease, they would have known because of the resistance. Tell me about it grease stud vintage shirt. Tank top, V-neck. Ladies' tee for men and women. Tank top, V-neck. I know some people who save fryer oil if they don't often. That way they don't have to have a fryer or pan full of grease sitting on their counter for a while. And they don't have to use new fryer oil every time. Fryer oil can get a decent amount of tell me about it grease stud vintage shirt use and stay relatively clean depending on what you cook and if you filter it. No, you didn't. Used fryer grease has a completely different consistency and a pungent smell. Even if you got past the fact that the spoon moved through the grease a lot slower than it would, though applesauce, you would have smelled the difference before you let that hit your lips. Official tell me about it grease stud vintage sweatshirt, hoodie, sweatshirt, hoodie. Beyond this, how can a person not tell the textures? Applesauce is not nearly as smooth as grease. I'm assuming this is something like bacon fat poured into a tell me about it grease stud vintage shirt jar while still hot, liquid. The color is similar to this picture, but everything else about them is so different. As soon as you dig into the grease, you would know immediately, especially if you keep a jar of grease on hand, that this jar is in fact the grease. Other products.